It's happening differently at different speeds in different areas, right? So obviously, areas like the U.S. and Europe have been pretty aggressive adopters of virtualization, but even countries such as India now are moving very rapidly in this area as well. And we've seen this in other parts of Asia in addition. And organizations, IT organizations, are trying to manage two pressures. One is the need for agility and speed, but also the need to manage costs. So virtualization is kind of looked at as the proverbial win-win, right? The ability now that I have a virtual machine, I can instantiate these much more rapidly. And as a consequence of that, I'm better positioned to share my infrastructure. Now, will every application move to a virtual infrastructure? The answer is probably no, right? Not every application is necessarily a good virtualization candidate. The good news is fewer and fewer of them are non-candidates. It's no longer really a question of whether or not virtualizations can support mission-critical applications. They usually can. It's really a question of design and overall cost and a focus on complexity, because while virtualization helps with agility, helps with cost, it does introduce new complexities as well. So again, it's part of this balancing act of trying to look to where to best leverage this new infrastructure, realizing that not in every application instance is it going to be the right architecture. Well, we actually developed a tool that's very helpful for this. We call it the Virtualization Maturity Model. And it's a model designed to step clients through the adoption process of virtualization and ultimately position them to potentially also be cloud providers as well. So we've identified 5 phases: deployment capable, operation ready, application centric, service oriented, and cloud enabled. With each level or phase trying to further institutionalize virtualization within the enterprise. So we won't focus too much on level 1 because that's kind of at the beginning. But level 2 or phase 2 is operation ready. And here the focus is on trying to have a stable, manageable foundation. You don't want to introduce virtualization and cause, added stress, added issues within the environment. So operation ready really seeks to quote unquote operationalize virtualization, which means it's integrated in the processes, means you don't have things like virtual machine sprawl occurring, which create a whole new set of potential issues, and so that you can present now this foundation to your application owners. That's level 3, is application centric, and this is where, again, we see clients now, they're beyond what we call the low-hanging fruit. They're now virtualizing Exchange, or they're virtualizing their ERP apps, or they're virtualizing maybe even databases. And again, the point here is to look at it from a lifecycle perspective. And also we see new tools being introduced at this point in time as well to provide more application visibility. Service-oriented, as the name implies, starts looking at delivering beyond just virtual machines, but entire services which may consist of multiple virtual machines. So at this phase, we see the introduction of things such as service catalogs as an example. And it becomes increasingly critical as well at this stage to manage the infrastructure holistically, because it's not just the virtual servers. You have to worry about storage. You have to worry about networking as well. So the entire service food chain, as it were. And then last but not least is cloud enabled. And one of the key attributes of a cloud within the Gartner taxonomy is metered billing, right? Or that you're doing chargeback. And quite frankly, most IT organizations haven't gone down this path since the days where the mainframe was predominant. And so it's important, though, that IT organizations start thinking about chargeback, because if we don't, we're going to be in a position where we keep getting asked for more and more services at higher qualities of service, and if everyone's offered that basically for free, then we'll never achieve it, right? So CIOs need to take more on the business axis and think about services, think about how the service quality might vary by the appetite of the consumer, and charge it commensurately. So you have to remember, virtualization is all about decoupling, right? And so once we no longer have this tight physical bound or bind between the application stack and the hardware, we have newfound flexibility, right? And the cloud is in many ways the next iteration of that flexibility. So do we run it within our private cloud? do we run it in the public cloud? In fact, we actually predicted, Gartner, that the future model will be a hybrid model. It will be a combination of private and public. We will move applications perhaps back and forth from and to the cloud, depending upon the change in requirements within our IT organization. So we may use it originally just for overflow for non-mission critical applications. We may use the cloud in the future for more and more mission critical applications. Most enterprises we talk to today are using it primarily for test dev style environments, but again, they all look towards the future where it becomes more and more part of their standard computing and data center strategy. So, the operative focus going forward for us is that, much like you did with virtualization, that is operationalizing virtualization, you need to operationalize cloud. So making the cloud part of our existing IT operations style processes, making sure it's part of the change management process, the capacity planning process, availability management process. We also need to make sure we have to have visibility into the cloud as well, right? Making sure that we can monitor the service levels that are being delivered and to validate them versus what the vendor, the service provider has offered them to us as. So going forward, again, the cloud in many ways becomes the next step from your virtualization strategy, and having a firm virtualization platform, making it operationally ready, making virtualization this technology that improves both agility and helps manage costs, gives IT the opportunity to go back to the CIOs and the C-level execs to say, now let's go to the cloud.